characters. So how do we know about the story characters? How do the readers know about the story characters? From the characters' thoughts, from the characters' words, and from the characters' actions. Actually, we know about the characters from their thoughts and from the words they say and from the actions they do. Which sentence did she keep repeating throughout the text from the beginning of the text till this point of the story? That she is truly, genuinely sorry. I'm truly, genuinely sorry. Do you think that she is truly, genuinely sorry? I don't think so. Why not? Because she gives many reasons for what she did. She tells us, or she tells Mr. Winston, many reasons for what she did, so she doesn't believe that it's her fault. And she seems to blame Mr. Winston for what happened. She thinks that it's Mr. Winston's fault or Mr. Winston's mistake, and that's why she doesn't sound or she doesn't seem truly, genuinely sorry. So by looking at Kara's thoughts, words, and actions, we can understand her character, that she doesn't really seem sorry and she doesn't really feel sorry about what happened. So what details in the text tell us that she doesn't really feel sorry? She says her parents made her write the letter. She also says that the snake wouldn't have gone away if Mr. Winston hadn't opened the box. And she said that she had to get the snake inside the library because she wasn't allowed to take the book out. So all of these details make the readers believe that Kara is not truly, genuinely sorry. The next page. That snake isn't dangerous. It's a local snake, and there are no poisonous snakes in Manitoba. The people at the library say you know that too because that was one of the reasons you decided to move here. I bought that snake from a friend. I paid 1 month's allowance for it, which means that the snake has cost me a total of 3 months' allowance, and I only own it for 1 hour. Mom says I don't have to tell who sold me that snake, so I won't tell you either because Dad says he's going to read this letter. Besides, I don't want you to be mad at anyone else when I'm the one who brought the snake into the library yesterday. I'm truly, genuinely sorry. I want you to know that I didn't plan to show you that snake. I didn't mean to scare you at all. I knew where the big green snake book was kept. I know where is the book. I put that box on a table close to the book and I tried to find the right picture. I looked at the picture, then at the snake, at another picture, and then at the snake. I did that 5 times, and I can tell you that the snake inside the library is not a python, a rattlesnake, an anaconda, an asp, or a cobra. Anyway, I was surprised when you wanted to see what was inside the box because I didn't ask for any help. And there was plenty of people in the library who did need help. That says that the fact that I said nothing instead of a snake is a proof that I knew I was doing something wrong when I brought that snake into the library. I'm truly, genuinely sorry, even though my friend Jake Lambert promised me that the snake I bought from him is perfectly harmless. So again, Kara is blaming Mr. Winston for what happened. She's telling him, I know where the book is, and I brought the book and I checked the pictures in the snake and my snake for 5 times, and I know that the snake is not cobra, python, asp, or anaconda, or a rattlesnake. And actually, I was surprised when you wanted to see what's inside my box because I didn't ask you for help. There were plenty of people, there were other people in the library who really needed help, but you came to help me. So again, she believes that it's not her fault and it's Mr. Winston's mistake that wanted to know what was inside the box. So, when did Kara buy the snake? She must have bought it in an hour of going to the library or an hour before going to the library. How do you know that? Because she said that she owned the snake for 1 hour. She said that she only had it for 1 hour before it escaped from the box. What excuses or reasons did Kara give for her behavior? What reasons did she say or did she give for her behavior? Why did she say she did that? Kara said that she didn't ask for help and that she didn't mean for Mr. Winston to see the snake. She didn't want him to see the snake. She blames Mr. Winston for ignoring the other people, for letting the other people in the library who needed help and helping her. She also said that the snake is harmless. The snake is not dangerous and it's not poisonous. The next page, I did tell you that I didn't need any help, and I did have a snake book open in front of me. So I don't know why you insisted on looking inside the box if you are so afraid of snakes and everything. So, if you are afraid of snakes, why were you insisting, or why were you so determined to look inside the box if you are already seeing a book that's full of snake pictures in front of me and you are so afraid of snakes? Why were you insisting on checking my box and looking inside the box? I don't know why you picked up that box before opening a flap either. If you had left the box on the table and maybe even sat down next to it, then maybe the box would have been alright when you screamed and fainted. You wouldn't have fallen so far either if you were sitting down. And also, I don't know why you picked the box before opening the box cover. If you had left the box on the table and if you sat down, then checked the box, maybe the box wouldn't have fallen and maybe you wouldn't have screamed and fainted. So again, she thinks that all what happened is Mr. Winston's fault. Do you know that you broke out in a rash after you fainted? Do you know that your skin turned into red after you fainted? I thought a person had to touch something like poison ivy to get a rash. I didn't know it was possible to get a rash by just thinking about something, but my parents say it really can happen. I think maybe you did touch something. Maybe when you were lying on the floor, that snake slithered over to you and touched you. Did you know that snake skin feels dry, not wet and slimy at all? She's telling Mr. Winston that. Did you know that all your skin or your body turned into red just after you fainted? I didn't know before that one's body could turn into red just because of thinking of something. I thought that you had to touch the snake in order for your body to get rash. So maybe the snake touched you when you passed out and you didn't know. So she's really mean. She really wants Mr. Winston to get scared. Wow. I just thought of something. Maybe everyone's is looking in the library for that snake, but it's not in the library. Maybe it crawled into one of your pockets or up your sleeve and rode with you to the hospital. So maybe everyone is looking in the library, but it's not there. Maybe it got inside the ambulance and rode with you to the hospital. Oh my god. Wouldn't that be funny? And she really thinks that this is funny. Why don't you get one of the nurses to check? So why don't you let one of the nurses in the hospital to check and look for the snake? If it's not in your clothes, it might have crawled out and might be hiding inside the hospital someplace. I think people should be looking there too. So if the snake is not in your clothes, it maybe have got out and maybe hiding inside the hospital in somewhere else. Maybe people in the hospital should be looking, be checking all the hospital. So she's mean, really. So how do you think Mr. Winston would react when Clara said that the snake might have touched him or might be in his clothes? What do you think Mr. Winston would do when he reads that part where Clara is telling him that the snake might have touched him or might be in his clothes? He would probably be very angry, yeah, or upset. What does Kara's words tell you about her? She mentions things she knows that will upset Mr. Winston or that he will be mad about. She also says it would be funny if the snake went to the hospital. She thinks that this is funny. So her words are somehow mean. So this is evil. She's bad. Her words are mean. Conclusions and generalization. Okay, let's read that part one more time. I did tell you that I didn't need any help, and I did have a snake book open in front of me. So I don't know why you insisted on looking inside the box if you are so afraid of snakes and everything. I don't know why you picked up the box before opening a flap either. If you had left the box on the table and maybe even sat down next to it, then maybe the box would have been all right when you screamed and fainted. You wouldn't have fallen so far either if you were sitting down. So, what is a conclusion? A conclusion is the opinion you have or what you think after looking at all information and facts about something. So, basically, a conclusion is your opinion Or what you think after looking at all the information and all the facts about something. So, what conclusion can you draw about Kara from her suggestions to Mr. Winston? What opinion can you have or can you form about Kara from her suggestions to Mr. Winston when she told him that she didn't need any help and she knew what she was doing, and maybe if he left the box on the table and sat next to it and after that opened the box, maybe he wouldn't have fallen so far and maybe the snake wouldn't have been lost. So what does that tell us about Kara? That Kara seems to believe that it's Mr. Winston's fault that he had fallen and got fainted. After considering all of these suggestions, after looking at all of these information, it's very obvious that she seems to believe that it's Mr. Winston's fault that he had fallen and he had got fainted. What details and examples can lead you to this conclusion? What are the details in the text that made you have this conclusion? That she asks why Mr. Winston came to help her when she didn't need any help. She also asks why he looked in the box if he was afraid of snakes. The last page, I'm sure you will be talking to the people in the library to make sure they find the snake before you go back to work. I hope they do find it, even though my parents, they say that I can keep it. If that snake is found, could you ask the people at the library to give me a call? I would be interested in knowing that it's all right. And if they do find the snake and do decide to give me a call, could you ask them if they could compare the snake with the snake pictures in that big green reference book before they call me? I would still like to know what kind of snake I owed for 1 hour. I'm truly, genuinely sorry, your friend Kara. So I'm quite sure that you will be talking to people to make sure that the snake is found before going back to work. Would you please give me a call? I would like to make sure that the snake is all right. And if you decided to give me a call or to let the people in the library give me a call, would you please tell them to compare the snake to the pictures of the snakes inside the book? Because I would like to know what kind of snake I had for only 1 hour. And after that, she repeated the same sentence she kept repeating throughout the text. I'm truly, genuinely sorry, which she doesn't mean at all. What do you think Kara feels about the snake? She seems to really care about it. She wants people in the library to let her know if they find it. She wants to know if it's all right. What about the illustrations or the drawings throughout the selection? How do they add to the story? The illustrations or the drawings, they are cartoonish. They add to the humor of the story. They really make the story entertaining. What's meant by humor? Humor is something that makes people laugh. The authors sometimes they use humor to make a story enjoyable to read. So authors sometimes they use humor to make a story entertaining. Who does Kara blame for what happened to Mr. Winston? Kara's opinion is that she has many reasons for what she did and that Mr. Winston is responsible for what happened to him. It's his mistake, it's his responsibility, and it's all his fault. What words or phrases did the author use to tell us about how she feels? I'm truly, genuinely sorry. How can you tell that these words mean the opposite? How do you know that these words, they mean the opposite? Does she sound truly, genuinely sorry? No. So how do you know that these words mean the opposite? Kara repeats them a lot. She repeats these words a lot. It feels that she doesn't mean these words. It feels that she's not sorry at all. And now let's move to selection projectables, conclusions, and generalizations. I would like you to get your projectable worksheet and get yourselves ready to fill it in with me. Conclusion or generalization. So what opinion did we form or did we have by looking at all the information in the story? That Kara seems to believe that it's Mr. Winston's fault that he had fallen and got fainted. What are the text evidence or what are the keys or the details that made us form or draw this conclusion? Detail number 1, that Kara asks why Mr. Winston came to help her when she didn't need help. Number 2, she asks why Mr. Winston looked in the box if he was afraid of snakes. That's it for today. Thank you so much. As a quick reminder, you should all have read the text before watching this video. So again, in case that you haven't, I ask you to go and read the text and then rewatch the video one more time. Thank you so much. Don't forget to stay safe.